At the start of the film, we see a man trapped in a glass container. As soon as he came to his senses, he panicked and started screaming. He thought that the person to imprison him was the one for whom he had to pay money. But then, in a little while, he realized that he had been kidnapped by someone else. But why? He still didn't understand. There was a timer running on the container. As soon as it was turned off, he heard a voice from the radio. A man named Henry. He was going to beg for help. He found out that Henry had also been kidnapped like him, and kept in a glass container. Henry's container also had a radio, like the one that was connected to Jeremy. Both were worried and wanted to get out of here. Jeremy told him, "Don't worry, we'll do something together." As soon as he said this, Jeremy's container started shaking fast. And the same thing happened to Henry. It means these people were in some kind of a truck that was moving and they were being taken far away from here. Jeremy guessed that Henry was also in the same truck. Because the radios in his container were very old. They couldn't catch the frequencies far away. Thinking about it, the truck stopped suddenly. Jeremy told Henry to shout loudly, so that someone could hear us and help us. But the voice was not coming out of their glass containers at all. Suddenly, Jeremy's container's light turned on. His eyes got distracted by the light and he couldn't see anyone. A torch and a picture were thrown in his container. The container's light turned off. As soon as Jeremy turned on the light and saw the picture, it was of the White House. And there was a note written behind it that if you tell us the location of Roulette, we will let you go. A similar message was also given to Henry. And it was written behind it that if Jeremy tells Roulette's location, Henry's life will also be spared. Jeremy asks Henry, "Who are you after all?" Henry told him that "I am a security officer." He didn't tell the man what Jeremy did and what he did. But Jeremy did understand that the kidnappers were the terrorists who wanted to play a big game with the government. That's why they are asking the location of Roulette. Henry told him, "Please tell them this location for my family. My life will be saved." But Jeremy apologizes to him, because he couldn't tell this location to anyone. He himself was still surprised at how these terrorists knew that Jeremy knew Roulette's location. Jeremy now had a big responsibility. He not only had to save himself, but also had to save the president, who lives in the White House, from these terrorists. For which it was necessary that he leave this prison first. He uses his brain and immediately tries to match the frequency of his radio with the nearby radios. Unfortunately, his connection with the truck driver is also made. He requested the truck driver, being afraid that, "Please, I am in a truck near you. Please guess my location and inform the police. These people have kept me in this by kidnapping me." Hearing his frightened voice, the truck driver understood that he was really in trouble. But how to find out from so many trucks while driving on the road, that in which truck he was? Suddenly Jeremy hears the sound of a heavy bike passing by his truck. He tells this to the other truck driver that a heavy bike has just passed by my truck. And in this way, the truck driver recognizes that in which truck Jeremy is. The truck driver was now chasing him to stop this truck. But Jeremy's driver also realized this, and he immediately turned the car from there and disappeared from the eyes of the other truck driver. Sad Jeremy was now lying there and was thinking what to do. Suddenly he gets a call from his wife in the speaker on his container. No one knew how this call was connected. But Jeremy quickly tries to ask for help from his wife. But here, because their fight was going on, his wife was not ready to listen to him. Before hanging up the phone, Jeremy quickly tells her everything. "Please, Molly, contact one of my friends, and tell them that someone has kidnapped me. You inform the police." Before Molly, that is his wife, could understand anything, her screams were heard in the speaker. And Jeremy understands that Molly was also kidnapped now. To blackmail Jeremy definitely, so that he could tell them the location of Roulette. Jeremy was very angry and was threatening them, "To leave my wife. I don't know anything." Then a voice said to him, "What do you think? We don't know about you. You are an undercover agent of the government, and you only told the location of all the Roulettes. If you tell the location of Roulette, then we will leave your wife too. We will leave you too and Henry's family too. And if you don't tell the location, then you will all be killed." Jeremy could not tell them the location of roulette in any way. Because these roulettes were those bunkers, in which the people of the authority, the way the president and the big people are kept safe. At any time of emergency, like a war or a disaster. If these people were asking the location of roulette, then it means that there is definitely chaos in the city, and the president's life is in danger. This time too, when Jeremy refused to tell the location of roulette, then he put a lot of bees in Jeremy's container. Because they also knew that Jeremy was allergic to bees. Because of their bites, Jeremy could have died. He urgently needed an injection, which he was not going to get in this container. Thinking about this, he fainted. After a while, he came to his senses and saw that he had been injected and his life was saved. He almost so understood that these people will not kill him, they will just torture him to ask the location of roulette. As soon as he came to his senses, Henry contacted him again. He was begging Jeremy to tell him the location of roulette, otherwise my family will be killed. But Jeremy refused this time too, saying that his duty is more important to him than his family. At this time, his first priority was to save the president's life, for which he could have made any sacrifice. He could have given his family and his life. He almost so clearly refused Henry to tell the location of roulette. Now they were talking that suddenly the police car was behind this truck. Because the truck driver was driving extra fast. Jeremy thought this was a good opportunity to save his life. But the terrorists threatened him from behind that if you try to act smart in front of the police, then your wife will be killed. But he was not afraid of the threats of these terrorists. As soon as he came close to the police, when the truck driver was showing his documents to the police, Jeremy tried to ask for help from the police. The police heard the voice and as soon as they felt something wrong, the truck driver drove the truck fast. To slow down the speed of the truck, the police fired from behind, one of which hit Jeremy's container. The broken glass of the container hit his leg. The driver was also driving the truck very fast, because of which they had an accident. And in this accident, Jeremy was unconscious. After a while, when Jeremy came to his senses, he saw that the driver was unconscious there. Or maybe he was dead. His phone was coming out of his pocket. Jeremy took his phone out of his container, and tried to contact the police quickly. Jeremy requested the police to save him. He didn't even know about his location. He just told them that he was kidnapped, and I don't know where they are taking me. The police wanted to help Jeremy, but found out that the location of the phone that Jeremy was using could not be tracked by the police. The police found another way and decided that they would track the signal tower through which Jeremy was contacting the police. But all this took a lot of time. He couldn't wait that long. In the meantime, he saw a man in front of him. He immediately shouted at that man and called for help. Fortunately, that man saw him, before he could get Jeremy out of the truck and container. Someone shot him from behind and killed him. He was also a terrorist, who ruthlessly threw the dead old driver out of the truck and started driving the truck again. Jeremy's hopes were shattered, because the police were tracking this location. And now if Jeremy had gone from this location, the police probably wouldn't have been able to save him. Suddenly, Jeremy got a call from the police. The police told him about Jeremy's location. Jeremy remembered that his wife's house was at this location. He immediately asked about his wife. When the police went to check his wife's house, Molly, Jeremy's wife, was not there. There was a note from the terrorist that it said that if Jeremy cooperates with us, his wife's life will be saved. The police told him, "Don't worry, we'll get to you soon." But how did the police get to him? The location they had tracked, Jeremy had come a long way from that location. At the same time, Henry contacted him again and told him, "Look, I have a timer. Maybe it's a bomb and I'll be killed in a while. Please, you can save my life. You tell them the location of roulette." Jeremy tells him, "I can't do that. But I'm also trying to save your life. I have a phone with which I have called the police." Hearing this, Henry told him, "Please get me to talk to my family on this phone." Jeremy wanted to get Henry to talk, but he didn't. Thinking that if he got emotional from their words, then maybe the terrorists would win. He was thinking that suddenly the radio he had was on, which was broadcasting the news of the riots in the whole city. The terrorists had planted bombs in the whole city, and bombs were exploding everywhere. There was a commotion. And to save the president's life, the president was sent inside Roulette. Jeremy started going crazy, because the terrorists had started their work. They just needed the location of Roulette from Jeremy. After that, they would have killed the president too. And the city would have been in a very bad situation here. He had to save the president's life somehow. He quickly tries to call his colleague agents. No one picks up his call except one. From this agent, Jeremy got to know another shocking news that all the undercover agents of the government were kidnapped in the same way, put in trucks, and trucks were set up everywhere. All these undercover agents were asked for confidential information and locations. The agents who did not tell the locations were blown up by the bombs in the truck. During all this, he got a call from Molly, his wife. She said to Jeremy, "Jeremy, please save me. They have locked me in the truck." Jeremy also understood that if I do not tell the location of Roulette, then along with me, they will also kill Molly in the blast. At this time, he was very sad. And he made a confession to Molly on the phone that he loves Molly very much. He knows that because of his bad habits, there was a lot of tension in his and Molly's life. But now he was trying to improve himself. He tells her, "I want to save your life even at this time. But what should I do? If I betray, then only me and your life will be saved. And if I do not tell them the location of Roulette, then along with the president, everyone will be saved. Molly, now I have made this decision. And I also know that I will die in a while. But please, if you forgive me for my mistakes, then maybe I can die in peace." This time, Molly was also very emotional. She said to Jeremy, "Have courage. Nothing will happen to both of us. And we will start living together again." At this time, everything was very emotional. As soon as Molly's phone was switched off, Henry contacted Jeremy again. He said that water has started to fill my container. And I think I will be killed in a while. Before Jeremy says anything to him, a loud explosion is heard. And Jeremy understands that Henry has been killed. And now in a while, maybe he will also be killed. He was thinking that he got a call from his co-agent, whom he had contacted before. He gave Jeremy a bad news that the president has been sent to Roulette, where they will find out the location from any remaining agent. And they will go there and kill the president. Hearing this, Jeremy got scared. Jeremy said to him, "Save the president's life somehow. This is our duty." Then that agent tells Jeremy that even I do not know the location of the president's Roulette. Only you know that, Jeremy. You tell me. I will go and inform the president. Hearing this, Jeremy understood that he is also involved with the terrorists. Now their car was also starting to shake violently, because of which Jeremy fell down. He got hurt a lot and started bleeding. When he got tired, he said to the driver, "Stop, I am ready to tell the location." As soon as he said, the truck stopped suddenly. But here Jeremy played the game again. And started laughing and said, "You are so helpless. You tortured me so much. But you still did not know the location. I wanted to tell the location. I just wanted to tell you this." Suddenly he got a call from Molly, who was crying. She said 2 minutes are left. We will all be blasted by the bomb. Please tell them the location. But Jeremy said to her, "I can't back out of my job, Molly. When I was appointed, I had promised that I will never back out of my duty. Even if I lose my life. And today is the time to fulfill this promise." As soon as Molly's phone was switched off, he got a call from her friend's agent again, who started asking for the exact location. But here Jeremy abused him and switched off his phone. And that man also told Jeremy clearly that he was betraying for money. Jeremy, who went crazy in anger, could not do anything. Because now, water was filling his container too. And in a while, he would also be killed. But before he dies, someone saves him. And takes him out of that container. His savior was none other than Henry, who was in his car all the time. He was talking to him again and again. Seeing this, he got very angry. He tried to kill Henry here. But then, the president came from behind and stopped him. And he was told that all that happened to him was just a test, which was taken from the president. Nowadays, it was difficult to trust anyone. That's why the president required such a test of all undercover agents, in which Jeremy had passed and he was also promoted. Now, he had a duty to stay with the president all the time. Hearing this, Jeremy was completely shocked. But there was nothing to worry. He did everything well. That's why he was going to get everything good. And that's how this movie ends here.